concrete is more than a solid substance. It's also a symbol of strength and endurance. A building block for foundations that last, allowing legacies to grow. Look at these teams. Consider their pedigree, the programs they represent. Their history is here, built on a bedrock of pride. They live up to winning traditions, reach the game's highest ground yet again. Through unity of purpose, effort and skill, and motivation that comes from the deepest well. Love for their teammates, their school, and the game. In a stadium that stands on concrete, like the cornerstones of their success, these teams will compete for the NCAA Men's Lacrosse National Championship.
Welcome to East Hartford, Connecticut. A championship weekend with more star power than ever. Features two of the biggest stars in the game and two of the most dominant programs of the past decade. Maryland undefeated from the Big Ten against ACC co-champion Duke. In semifinal number 2, the winner advances to Monday, where Virginia, the reigning champs, await. Anish Shroff with Quint Kesnick. Paul Carcaterra is down in the field and will be with us in a moment. Over the last 10 years, nobody has won more and nobody has been on the big stage more than these two teams.
Yeah, we've enjoyed our time this week and this season with John Tillman, head coach of Maryland, and John Danowski at Duke. And the two holistic coaches, that's the whole student athlete. This year they talked about common sense, discipline, and sacrifice. Off the field and what you're going to see today on the field.
Maryland may be undefeated, but Duke was the preseason favorite. They became the overwhelming favorite with the addition of a transcendent senior and a generational freshman.
Michael Sowers graduated from Princeton 2020. He's got an extra year of eligibility. He's in the graduate school at Duke. What separates Sowers from the bunch is his quickness, his short area ability to accelerate. He's got amazing feet. He's like a point guard in basketball, Allen Iverson-like quickness, where he can free up his hands and find his teammates or turn the corner. He is fierce. He transferred to Duke, well, because he had a dream, and that is to win a national championship. He told us this week, these are the moments that I live for. This is why I chose Duke.
A finalist for the Tewaaraton, the Heisman of lacrosse. He's second all-time in points in Division I history, and he is flanked by Brennan O'Neill, the #1 recruit in the country, the biggest high school recruit in the game of college lacrosse. He has exceeded the hype.
His high school highlights jumped off the page. They're eye-popping. All he's done at Duke is live up to that reputation. The kid is throwing flames at the corners of the goal.
Carc, Maryland says, I see Sowers, I see O'Neill, and I raise you Jared Bernhardt.
Well said, Anish, and nobody to date in college lacrosse has been able to slow down the Terps' Jared Bernhardt. Nobody, and his secret sauce, without question, is his speed. He's like a rocket ship. The acceleration at X and behind has him shot ready in the blink of an eye. In space, Bernhardt shows you why he was an all-state option quarterback in Florida in high school. Bye-bye. He's the nation's leading scorer, and he's on a mission. Bernhardt is a Terp legend and looking for his second national title. Now today, he has not seen the likes of a defender like JT Giles Harris in pregame. I spoke to John Danowski, and he said they will put the National Defender of the Year, JT Giles Harris, on Jared Bernhardt. JT Giles Harris, another elite football player in high school. He's got great footwork, and he's strong as an ox. This is the matchup that I've waited all season long for.
All right, guys, you're not going to come together and shake. You're just going to go to your positions. Goalies will stay. We're just waiting for zero. Men, congratulations on getting here, and good luck.
uncertainty of the season, dealing with testing and protocols,
Right,
uneven schedules.
No, cross, please. Go your spot.
And suddenly you can't shake, or apparently you can.
You're already there. Might as well.
Times are changing, and thankfully so. Since 2011, this is the fourth semifinal meeting between Maryland and Duke. The Terps, a former ACC member. 3 ACC teams got to championship weekend, and John Tillman on the right. His Terps, like Diane, returning the cheers for the finale. John Danowski, 3 national titles. Nobody has more Division I wins than the Duke head coach. Jake Naso, the face-off man for Duke, having one of the best freshman seasons by a face-off man in history. Justin Shockey at Maryland. Face-offs have been an issue for Maryland, Quint, but in their quarterfinal win against Notre Dame, they won the key face-offs down the stretch. And Shockey wins the opener for the Terps. A Maryland team that played a Big Ten-only schedule until the NCAA tournament. Dispatched of Vermont in round 1. Rallied from 3 goals down in the fourth quarter to beat Notre Dame in South Bend in the quarterfinals. An undefeated team. Jared Bernhardt, 1 in red. Don't take your eyes off of him. Bubba Fairman now on the invert. Fairman shot saved by Mike Adler. A transfer from St. Joe's where he was a 3-year captain. It's a Duke team that is heavy on experience, transfers, and grad students. 16 grad students. Terry Lindsay plays it to the wing. Duke generally doesn't go quickly. Look like they might, but they'll settle into their offense. Michael Sowers, 23 in white. One of the great scorers of all time. Brennan O'Neill. The freshman fighting through a double team, and it's Brett Makar, the All-American, taking it away. But Makar fell near the end line, and it comes back to Duke. Robertson and Sowers converged.
Sometimes the first minutes of these big games can be a little bit herky-jerky. And it's good to get in, get a touch of the ball, get hit, make a check, kind of take the edge off, so to speak.
Nakai Montgomery, 15 in white. Another All-American for the Blue Devils. Now Sowers against Nick Grill. Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten. Logan McNaney comes up with the save, out of bounds. It's Maryland ball. McNaney closest to the ball where it went out of bounds. And that's how possession is awarded on a shot. We told you about Adler. He's the best goalie Duke has had since they started winning championships for John Danowski.
St. Thomas Aquinas played high school lacrosse in Florida, transferred from St. Joe's as a teenager, was attacked by a shark. He's an avid surfer.
Typical goalie went back in the water.
Bernhardt with his man hung up. And a crease violation on his teammate Daniel Maltz. Kark, this Duke team, for all the talent they have, John Danowski was pretty candid. He said they still haven't figured out their identity. They're here more on talent than chemistry.
I would agree with you, Anish, and it's the middle of the field. I think they've had some consistency on the defensive end with JT Giles-Harris and Kenny Barra. Offensively, the Sowers connection with Brennan O'Neill and Joe Robertson there. The midfield, though, we've seen so many different variations of this midfield group in terms of the continuity and running the same lines throughout the course of the season really didn't exist. The glue in the middle is the missing piece. Today, they can solve it.
That equates to your workouts, Kark. A lot of upper body, a lot of calves, not much core in the middle.
Adler retreats to the cage. Bernhardt topside and a score. One in red has been unstoppable.
Terps do a terrific job matching feet on the ride, okay? That is finding bodies basically in a zone coverage and covering. JT Giles Harris, he's forced to throw that ball to a man who's covered. It gets away from him at the other end.
Unleash the rocket ship. First step, too fast, top side. That's where he's been dominating matchups. Rarely does he have to use his rollback because he gets his feet and his hands free with the burst. That is the rocket ship of Jared Bernhardt.
He had 6 goals in round 1. 5 more in the quarterfinals. Now his 12th goal of this NCAA tournament. Maryland's all-time scoring leader, Shockey.
This is a Terp offense that blitzed its way through the Big Ten. It's a league, quite honestly, that a little subpar defensively, but man, this team can move the ball. Rapid, crisp passing, bodies are moving. Offensive coordinator Bob Benson's got this team playing just a beautiful brand of half-field lacrosse.
Logan Wisnowskis now. Adler out of the cage. Back pedals in. Wisnowskis against Kenny Bauer. There's Bernhardt. Over to Wisnowskis, his sweet spot. It'll stay with Maryland. The shot clock resets on a shot on goal. Anything that hits the goalie, the pipe, or if it goes in.
Terps getting their looks.
Here comes Kyle Long, an adept feeder out of the midfield. Anthony DeMeo, 16 in red, the quarterfinal hero. Feet in front, looking for Maltz. It's picked up by the top defenseman in the country, JT Giles Harris, the Schmeisser Award winner. Another matchup within the game, Grill and Showers. Kark, what are you looking for in that one-on-one?
When you look at the body of work of Nick Grill, no one has had the upper hand. He's 5'7", 5'8". He's guarded 6'3" guys, but he also has the feet to match Michael Sowers. And Maryland also has the secondary matchup with Brett Makar, 43 in red, to defend Brennan O'Neill, the fantastic freshman. So I think Maryland has the pieces in regards to their defense matching Duke's strength on attack.
Nice pick defense by Maryland as Duke's using the pick and roll game.
Logan McNaney in the cage for Maryland. He has never lost a game as a starter. From Corning, New York, the same head coach, the same hometown as his head coach, John Tillman, is O'Neill with a missile high.
I thought McNaney was really good in the second half last week at South Bend, Notre Dame. Made some plays outside of the crease, ground ball pickups, and a couple of aggressive outlet passes that really made the difference in that comeback.
Showers at the Lowry pick. Grill the takeaway. Roman Puglisi clears for Maryland, and 3 early turnovers for both teams. Terps going quickly, save Adler on the shot from Griffin Brown. The Colgate transfer, a pair of goals in 4 of his last 5 games for the Terps. Duke in transition, Dyson Williams with a great look. And missed the mark. He scored a goal in almost every game. That streak ended last week.
Both teams a little sketchy in the substitution game. Duke runs their personnel off the field. Maryland had a numbers advantage that shouldn't have existed. Then they counterattack Maryland. It's rare to see the Blue Devils run. I think you need to add that to their arsenal today. Transitional lacrosse.
Nikai Montgomery back to Sowers. Grill had a takeaway last time. Sowers. This is what he does so well. Has to give it up. And the Maryland bench hopping.
Watch inside!
Real's a good matchup for Sowers. He can match feet with him.
Kevin Quigley. Montgomery has the short stick. Kaufman. He had 3 goals against Maryland in the semifinals back in 2018. That was as a freshman. And the Terps get the backup.
There's McNaney again, making a play outside of the crease. Not assuming that the Duke player was closer, but actually sprinting to the end line when Sowers and company stood there as spectators.
I think they surprised Sowers, right? Because McNaney, when you're a goalie and you can anticipate that shot going wide in one motion, he's tracking the shot but then turning to the end line to get that ball, and Sowers is in disbelief.
Now Bernhardt. He's got his man hung up. Adler out of the cage again. He's not afraid to press out. JT Giles-Harris stays with Bernhardt, and one of the rare times Jared Bernhardt has been denied topside. Fairman beats Lyshow. Skip pass. Kyle Long down the alley. That one hits the pipe. Stay with Maryland. And shot clock refresh.
Duke catches the break there. Again, a gorgeous offensive pattern. Ball reversal. Body's always moving. Defensive roles have to change. It's hard to keep up with this group. They get the ball in and out of their sticks.
Duke pressing out now. Logan Wisnowskis, nicknamed Groot. Soft-spoken attackman. Duke with the cause, the turnover. Wilson Stevenson, number 19. Who's been through countless surgeries on his leg after a horrid injury in the quarterfinals 2 years ago, making a big play.
2 years ago, at Hofstra, 8 surgeries later.
Dyson Williams with a bouncer and a save by McNaney. And Clark, you get the sense Maryland is almost daring Duke to play fast.
They are. The Terps can get up and down. Right here, we got one.
Bernhardt! Oh, what a save by Adler! Crease violation.
Are you kidding me with that save?
That was ridiculous. He was completely lunging, had no balance, and somehow lunges and puts his stick back in front of the lacrosse ball. Just never give up, never give up. Deal with the fakes.
Williams again finds the back of the net. Dyson Williams was Duke's leading goal scorer in the shortened 2020 season. He's had to take a lesser role with the influx of talent. He ties it at 1, but it starts with Adler.
Point blank range. Kyle Long pings the post. Blue Devils forks up to catch a break. Watch this. Doesn't get any better than that.
Unbelievable. Adler gives him the juice. Williams does what he does so well. Closes the deal. We got another one in East Hartford, all tied up.
Both Duke and Maryland surviving in the quarterfinals, both needing overtime wins.
Tell you, give credit to Charlie Toomey and the Loyola Greyhounds for digging in last Sunday up at Notre Dame. Brendan O'Neill had a monster game off the dodge and on the extra man. He's really found his sweet spot. We head to overtime after Loyola had the lead. Guess who? The Iceman, Joe Robertson. His 3rd overtime game winner of the season.
Jared Bernhardt was unstoppable. 5 more goals, running by the ACC Defensive Player of the Year in Jack Fealty. And in overtime, Captain Clutch for Maryland has been Anthony DeMeo. Tony time, winning it for the Terps.
An old school give and go. Maryland was down, 3 goals late in that game, and they just played the full 60. Notre Dame may have been the best 50-minute team in the country this season.
A face-off violation, so Maryland has now won all 3 face-offs. And You brought up a good point last week where Maryland, Rutgers, the face-off numbers were not good heading into the NCAA tournament. That more of a result of the quality of face-off men in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it wasn't like the Patriot League, a league that really didn't have great Fogos except for Mike Sisselberger of Lehigh. The Big Ten had great Fogos across the board.
Bernhardt again. Gets around JT Giles Harris, picked up by Lindsay on the switch. This is dangerous for Duke. Bernhardt plays it back to DeMayo. Look at the way the Terps move the ball. That time it hit the turf is Fairman.
So they're looking for layups and dunks, is Maryland. I think the way to defend them, two opportunities. One, you just pack it in and give them the outside shot. The second would be you play them on the perimeter and make them score unassisted goals.
Brower came out on the switch on Bernhardt. A short stick matchup here for Wisnauskas. Bernhardt. Shot blocked. JT Giles Harris there to deny DeMayo.
Duke's packing it in pretty good right now.
Skip pass intercepted. Tyler Carpenter in the passing lane. Beating the crease. Sowers. Shot saved. McNaney. The Terps come away with it. It's Kyle Long the other way. Long has it knocked loose. Ooh, man. Bodies flying. Two Blue Devils were down. JT Giles Harris slow to get up.
That's not good. This is a
National Defensive Player of the Year, limping noticeably.
The Maryland player hit a Duke player who then hit JT Giles Harris right around the knee. There's the hit. And teammates collide. Clean hit. Ooh, he's lucky the left knee hyperextends a bit.
Frank Marinello will come in for JT Giles Harris.
Anish, that is the case with Marinello, but they'll put Kenny Brower on Jared Bernhardt. Brower's defended a lot of teams opposing number ones. He's a cover guy, an elite defender in himself, 43 in white. So he's used to those kind of matchups when he's on Bernhardt. They'll support, but they have faith in him.
Brower that time defending Holden, the Hobart transfer. Bernhardt's got Marinello, draws the slide, the pass tipped. Maryland keeps it on the offensive half. It was a tip pass.
Duke's really packing it in defensively. Daring the outside shot. Look how tight their splits are.
Holden again, the former statesman. And that's Brower making the play defensively. Duke has been active. Bernhardt on the ride. Another big ground ball. Stevenson has it. Here comes O'Neal, charging to the cage, looking for the cutter, Camille. And Grill's got it for Maryland. You can tell Duke is not comfortable playing unsettled. They haven't really done much of it this season.
It's not in their DNA, Carp.
No, and Maryland can. You look at Maryland's defensive midfield group. I mean, they're shorties. Roman Puglisi, Alex Smith. Those guys have the green light. They can run end to end.
Bubba Fairman out of Sandy, Utah. Now Long. Wisnauskas and DeMayo play catch. Bernhardt, he's got two. 65 goals now for Jared Bernhardt.
Blue Devils have an opportunity. O'Neal has got a 3-on-2. Pass off the mark, and Grill scoops it up. At the other end, one thing that we've just loved about Jared Bernhardt's game this year, Kark, is his willingness to play without the ball.
When you talk to John Tillman, he'll tell you Jared might be their best off-ball player. We've seen him multiple times on tape throughout the course of the year playing the inside game, because when teams are doubling him and there's so much attention on one in red, he can go inside and he can play that game and cat and mouse as defender, and he gets shots off so quickly like a crease attackman would.
That goal he scored twice, exactly the same play against Michigan this season, from that high slot as a right-handed cutter.
And Kark, no disrespect to volume shooters, but Bernhardt's efficiency is off the charts. He's now scored on more than 50% of his shots.
It's unbelievable what he's been able to do in terms of just maximizing those opportunities. Pager, this flag is down right now. Bernhardt shooting over 50%.
Red 2-8. Illegal procedure, 30 seconds. What's illegal about the procedure?
That's not a foul right there. Not sure why that was called a foul.
Brian. No flag. No flag. No flag. No flag. Official's mistake. No flag. We're all even.
So the flag is waved off, which is the right call. Bobby Benson, offensive coordinator for Maryland, negotiating well.
He knows the rules. I mean, there's not a rule in that book, that thick book, Anish, that Bobby Benson doesn't know. I mean, when you have him on your staff, it's like you have another official in regards to just breaking everything down. But one last note on the Bernhardt. When do you remember a perimeter attackman shooting over 50%? I mean, that's nuts to me. I mean, normally guys in his style, they're like 35% shooters.
Agreed. Benson's got a little bit of Rain Man in him, doesn't he?
In the NCAA tournament, Bernhardt 13 out of 19. Robertson, who had the overtime winner in the quarters, bobbled it. McNaney looked like a beetle trapped in amber and somehow got out of it, and then throws it away.
Duke's got to find some rhythm in their half-field set.
13 turnovers between the two teams in this first quarter, 8 by Maryland. Terps with a 2-1 lead. Bernhardt the offense for the Big Ten champions. Dyson Williams the lone goal for the co-ACC champs. Sowers milks the final seconds of quarter number one. Gets the pick from Williams. Grill matching feet. Brennan O'Neal, he's been quiet so far. O'Neal ran into a double. That one hit the official. And time runs out in quarter number one. The Maryland bench fired up. Jared Bernhardt continues to amaze. A human cheat code. 2 more goals for the Tewaaraton favorite. 2-1 Terrapins after one.
The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships is brought to you by PlayStation Plus.
Duke head coach John Danowski telling us he recruited Jared Bernhardt and said, I recruited him off of his football tape.
It was an option quarterback from Orlando, Florida. Got offers from Navy to come be their option QB. I think the one he wanted was Georgia Tech. And every time I saw Paul Johnson, like, you got to take a look at this kid from Orlando. Well, he ends up going to Maryland and playing lacrosse. His dad, Jimmy Bernhardt, a longtime college football coach, started out at Hofstra, then Brown, then UCF. His dad passing away in 2019, and Jared still has the dream to play college football. The physicality of being an option quarterback, that is dealing with a defender on your hands and having your eyes up to see your teammates, is much like executing the triple option. That is dive, keep, or pitch. Ryan Boyle Tommy Schreiber, Doug Shanahan, Jared Bernhardt, lacrosse legends, or all high school option quarterbacks.
I like that. Dive, keep, or pitch option principles.
Set.
That was John Danowski's assessment when we said, hey, how do you defend Bernhardt? He said it has to be a team effort. It's not about matchups. And then he added, what we're trying to do is defend a football player playing lacrosse. Maryland turns it over. JT Giles Harris took a spill in that first quarter, back in there for Duke.
You know, it's interesting. You watch the Maryland offense, it's like hot potato. And when I spoke to John Danowski right before the game, he mentioned the ball can't get sticky, can't die in sticks. Like Michael Sowers has to make those quicker decisions. Is it my time to go, or is it my time to move the rock? I think Maryland's been masterful at that at times throughout the course of the year. It's been them in North Carolina and everyone else in terms of sharing. Duke, at times, the ball sticks too much.
Who can win a matchup, Duke, from the Clark from the perimeter? If you're Duke, who can win a Duke matchup other than Sowers?
I think Nakai has to be that guy. 15 in white, first team All-American, Nakai Montgomery, but he's been quiet the last 4 or 5 games.
Quigley turned away by Puglisi, the short stick. Montgomery, great feed. McNaney, the denial. 4 saves by Logan McNaney. Duke told us that midfield production had to be better today. Did not get much from that unit against Loyola. A game in which John Danowski said his team played tight. Worst offensive performance of the season, according to Dino. Here comes DeMayo. From Maryland to the challenge this week, recovery. John Tillman said it took his team 3-4 days to recover after the showdown with Notre Dame. Good look here by DeMayo. Tony time.
There's the ball movement. That's hot potato, Lacrosse's version. Everyone knows there's one more pass to be had. And Anthony DeMayo, game-winning goal in overtime against Notre Dame out in South Bend on the road. Dug deep. This time sets his feet and finds that far pipe on Adler.
The exclamation point is an 8-yard shot with no defender in your face. The ISO of Adler shows he has no chance. The reflex is just not that quick. But it all starts with a double team drawn on the far wing that gets the defense in motion. Maryland spacing perfect. 10-yard crisp passes right on the money. In and out of sticks. Easy layup.
A 4-1 face-off advantage for Maryland. And we get movement against the Terps. Duke ball. Sean Lowry, 9 in white, a 6th-year senior from Foxborough. At our production meeting last night, we had a strong debate on the spelling of Foxborough, Massachusetts. Ends in an O or a O-U-G-H?
According to Jess, our content associate, who's done a fantastic job, O-R-O.
O-R-O. O-R-O-U-G-H. Brennan O'Neill on the doorstep cashes in. Goal is easier to spell. G-O-A-L. It's 3-2.
Tillman looking at the autopsy report from this goal. The damage report says loose ball on the ground, over pursued by a bunch of red jerseys. O'Neill is a horse. He's a freshman. 6'2" or 6'3". Look at those legs. 230 pounds. Much faster than advertised, Paul.
And the subtleties, too. Did you see the instincts in terms of putting the stick in the inside when he felt the pressure from Maryland's Brett Makar. This kid is phenomenal. Watch his high school highlights in terms of his creativity. And, you know, a lot of people have compared him to a John Grant Jr. The way he's built and the way he moves, he's got flashes of Gary Gayton. And I'm not saying he's the next Gary Gayton, who's the best player to ever play the game, but he's got flashes of that in him.
A failed clear. Now Bernhardt with a head of steam. Fakes the pass. Over to Wisnauskas. Tried to play it back, and Maryland couldn't hang on. Duke with a transition opportunity. Carpenter cranks. And O'Neal closest to the ball when it went out. McNaney back into the cage. Grill goes to work on Sowers.
Duke clearing has been an issue all season.
Clark, you brought it up with the midfield. You're still seeing Duke trying to figure out the best midfield combination. Aiden Denenza out there. J.P. Basile. Skip pass. Denenza, the freshman, shoots too high. He, Jake Naso, and Brennan O'Neal all played at St. Anthony's in Long Island.
Yes, and they have the nation's #1 recruit in St. Anthony's, Andrew McAdory, heading to Duke next year.
Sowers still without a point. Brett Makar. Go ahead, Kark. Show him some Yorktown love.
That's my guy, Brett Makar from my hometown, Yorktown, New York. Everyone is so proud of that guy in terms of not only the way he plays, but his character. I say it all the time. If you don't know Brett Makar, he's the type of guy that will shovel the old lady's driveway on a snowstorm and not even tell her he did it. That is a class act, that kid.
Kind of like Anish paying for all the coffee at Starbucks.
Elkhart, Indiana. As they say in Yorktown, Kark, no booch.
No good deed goes unpunished. That'll be $48, sir.
The gentleman in front paid for mine. I got the car behind me. Didn't know it was a van.
How much?
$48 for a $7 coffee and sandwich.
Serves you right.
Oh, wow. And Maryland's continues a moving pick violation. They're getting good looks, aren't they? I mean, they're very comfortable in their half-field offensive sense.
It's a bit surprising that Maryland is only up a goal. 11 turnovers. That's been the issue for the Terps, though. A flag is down. This may be offsides against Maryland. Montgomery with a running start. Here's Nakai, senior out of Dallas, Texas. Plans to come back next year. Dangerous pass, Quigley. Denied. And we get the penalty.
McNaney's super sharp today. Lefty goalie. Likes his hard rock music. Actually shares music with head coach John Tillman.
Red, 4, offsides, 30 seconds.
Motley Crue, Jane's Addiction, Stone Temple Pilots, the Stones, Metallica. Tillman kind of educating him to some of the classics from the 80s.
That's on brand with Tillman, and Logan McNaney is from Tillman's hometown, Corning, New York. They love rock and roll up there.
Duke has been lights out with the man up of late. 6 for its last 8. Looking for the equalizer. Montgomery, the crank, and McNaney.
He's seeing it. He is on it, man, and he's patient, Quint. When you watch him just sitting on that shot, man, there's no antsy feet.
He's very still.
Makar has Puglisi. Here comes Roman. Now Wisnauskas. Chased down by JT Giles Harris. NBA playoffs, first round continues with Sixers, Wizards, Jazz, Grizzlies. All that tonight on ESPN. DeMayo against Montgomery. He's played a little defense. John Danowski okay with it. Adler comes up with a save.
Kick save and a beaut.
His fourth. McNaney's got 7 at the other end. New 82nd to shot clock. Bernhardt. A hat trick for Bernhardt. He's got 3 of the 4 Maryland goals. And he now has more goals in an NCAA tournament than any other Terrapin in school history. 14 goals in this tournament, one more than the 13 by Mark Douglas back in 1991.
Be the best. It's been a shooting clinic, a shooting gallery. They're getting all the looks that they want.
He's done it off the dodge, Quinn. He's done it in the inside game. And on his third of the half, he shows you some plant, rip, make it count.
The Maryland Terrapins looking to become the first undefeated champion since Virginia in 2006. 14-0. 12 of those wins against the Big Ten. Big Ten champions, regular season and tournament. Beat Notre Dame in a hard-fought quarterfinal in South Bend. We never heard a complaint. Hey, we're the 3 seed. We have to go on the road to take on the 6 seed in the quarterfinals. And since John Tillman took over, they have been a fixture in this game and on this stage.
What's impressed me most about John Tillman this year is the human connection he's been able to make with these players. He lightened up. He kind of turned down the volume in terms of their practice workload. Instead, buying wiffle balls and wiffle ball bats and allowing the guys to hang out after practice. And his tendency is to be very intense and very detail-oriented. He had to adapt, and he did that. Now, we did see him coach yesterday a walkthrough practice that may have been one of the most impressive we've seen in our time covering championship weekend.
Incredibly detailed. There's Kyle Long, saved by Adler.
But I think he understands the push-pull that goes along with, hey, if we're going to practice that hard, that detail, that specific, I also need to go easy on my guys. Kind of cut them free at the end of practice to just be young student athletes who are dealing with a really difficult spring semester during a pandemic.
100%. You want your team to smile more than ever, right? Everything off the field that they're dealing with and the restrictions. Tillman is one of those guys, preparation-wise, it's hard to find anyone who's more detail-oriented, but he also understands the journey of these athletes and making them happy and having them peak in a moment like this in May.
Sowers too high. Quint, I go back to 2017, and John Tillman was very candid about this back then with us. Having Matt Rambo and Colin Heacock, big personalities, that helped him grow as a coach.
His biggest challenge with this group, you've got the different parts coming in from the transfer portal. You've got Jared Bernhardt in a year where it's really tough to form relationships. Somehow he's found a way to get it done.
Robertson to Lowry. Clark, what's wrong with this Duke offense right now?
They're not finding their groove in terms of initiating. The Dodgers, right? Who is the guy that's going to break their man down? Well, right there,
how about Sowers?
23.
Don't blink. Wow. Highlight reel, individual effort, and John Tillman's reaction. Yeah. Hey, sometimes there's no defense for greatness.
There's only one other player in college lacrosse history that I've seen with the quickness, the electric feet, like Michael Sowers. That's Mikey Powell, the great Syracuse four-time All-American and National Attackman of the Year for 4 straight years. Michael Sowers has that in his game. In a fraction of a second, he can explode and find pay dirt.
His traction looks terrific today. Some wondered about the rain and playing on this grass field. If he'd have that cutting ability, just answered it, didn't he?
Face-off violation on Maryland. Up for the Terps, playing on grass is something they haven't done in more than 4 years.
I can't believe how this grass is held up. Honestly, I thought it would be a mess. If you look at the face-off X, like, it's not even chewed up at all. Look at the goal crease. This is 100% natural grass with all the rain that we had overnight during the first game. Traction, to be quite honest with you, is not a factor.
Swim move to get free by Quigley. Back to Montgomery. Back to X and Sowers. He's got Grill hung up. Sowers waiting, probing. Dumps it off to O'Neal. The freshman. Looking for Sowers. Grill knocked it down. It's picked up by Quigley. 20 to shoot. Sowers and Grill again. That's been a fun matchup so far. O'Neal against the short stick. Shot clock winding down. Ledman dropped it, and it's picked up by Alex Smith, the son of DeMaurice Smith, the head of the NFL Players Association. Alex Smith has guys like Ray Lewis and Ed Reed on speed dial. Need a pep talk? Ray Lewis is a good one to get one from. Wisnauskas to Bernhardt. 3 goals today. Bernhardt, the all-time leading scorer at Maryland, goals and points. Fairman. Over to Kyle Long. DeMeo has a cutting Wisnauskas. You can set that to music. Poetry in motion for Maryland.
His offense has been humming all season. Long, down the wing, Wisnauskas, who had cut left-handed across the middle of the formation, continues his run behind the net and then in front. The defender's allowed in the crease, but for some reason decides to trail Wisnauskas, who then has a step. The ball stays hot. They are so unselfish. You see the big lefty from Sykesville via Boys Latin School, via Syracuse as well.
Yeah, you can't teach that off-ball awareness. I've said it before, too. He's one of those guys, like, he's not fast, but he always gets a step on someone. He reminds me of Dirk Nowitzki. When I watched Dirk Nowitzki play basketball for all those years, he gets his hands free. He doesn't run by anyone. It's the little subtleties in what he does off ball. He felt that his defender was ball watching for just a fraction of a second, and that's where he got that leverage.
Griffin Brown over to Eric Holden. Now Bernhardt against Giles Harris. Bernhardt's got his man hung. Adler presses out. They've got the matchup. Bernhardt against the shorty. Help coming. Bernhardt plays it up top. Perfection. Griffin Brown, the Colgate transfer. Maryland stopped turning the ball over. And since they've done that, they've had their way with this defense.
When you mentioned pack it in. Griffin Brown is the stretch shooter. A couple of years ago, up in the Carrier Dome when he was playing for Colgate, 4 goals, spraying from downtown. When you have the attention of Bernhardt behind, you see all those white jerseys? If someone can find that passing lane, you will have time to set your feet, let it rip, and get it by Adler.
Goal cam tells the story. But Bernhardt gets the matchup against the shorty, and that's an automatic double team. So JT Giles Harris rotates to him, and Bernhardt, like the option quarterback he was, he reads the coverage. He throws the skip pass, turn and rake. Maryland's offense is a thing of beauty. If you're a middle school or high school player watching this game, or a young youth coach, tape this game. Play these formations back, because these guys are flowing.
Tomorrow, noon Eastern on ESPNU, it's the Women's Lacrosse Championship. BC and Syracuse. Charlotte North, best player in the country. The star for the Eagles. For more information on the 2021 Men's and Women's Lacrosse Championships, visit NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. John Danowski looking for an answer. Duke down by 3. A team that Danowski admitted was still searching for its identity. Kark.
Searching for an identity. They had pieces to the puzzle, right? But then you bring in Michael Sowers, a generational talent who's used to having the ball on his stick for so long. So how do you incorporate him into the game? On the other side of the field, though, I think they felt the confidence in terms of the continuity with JT Giles Harris. And he's got that Bernhardt matchup right now. And if you remember in the first quarter, he went out for a little while. His left leg right now is wrapped. And when you're going against a speed guy like Jared Bernhardt, you want your top dog to be 100%.
Shockey wins the faceoff. Accelerates into the attack box. Shoots on goal! And the Maryland bench explodes! Fourth career goal for Justin Shockey. It's 3 straight for the Terps.
I tell you, this big senior's been doing it for a long time. He's part of the Hog Pen. That's the nickname for the face-off specialist down in Maryland. He's an avid whitewater kayaker. He's a good athlete who's evolved his game with the rule change, and he sniffs this one out. You don't give me the respect, I make you pay.
Look at the placement, too. Old school overhand right into the bottom corner. I'll tell you what, coming into this game, no one felt that Maryland had the advantage at the face-off dot with Shockey. Naso has been terrific this season for Duke, the best freshman face-off man in the nation. But John Tillman, in big moments when he has time to prepare, if you remember back in 2017, using the entire unit to capitalize on those face-off moments.
Yeah, Maryland has such a strong history of turning what appears to be a face-off potential shortcoming into an advantage by using film work and by getting great performances from their face-off men.
In 2017, they found an answer against T.D. Erlin and Jake Withers and Trevor Baptiste. Think about who they had to go through to get to the championship in 2017. Coming up at halftime, a first half breakdown of this game. Plus, we'll recap Virginia and North Carolina. Chris Cotter, Dave Petramala, Matt Ward in the studio.
I would be interested in hearing Coach Petramala's opinion on how you best handle Jared Bernhardt and the Maryland offense.
You go into a time machine and you get him, 21-year-old Dave Petramala.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what are your options? I would, at this stage, what Duke's doing is not working, okay? They're trying to pack it in. Maybe you just extend and say, hey, Maryland, if you're going to score goals, it's got to be unassisted. You got to run by us. But the problem with that is Bernhardt's going to run by every time.
Every time.
So he needs a double, but maybe the other guys don't. And so that gets really complicated.
As the line goes, there was only one catch, and that was catch 22. Maryland has it again. 3 goals in less than a minute for the Terps. They've got their largest lead at 4. Virginia awaits the winner on Championship Monday. if it is Virginia and Maryland, a rematch of that 2019 controversial quarterfinal. A Virginia shot that hit the post was counted as a goal. Fairman, Wisnowski's shot looked like it hit somebody in the helmet. Virginia and Maryland also met in the 2011 National Championship. Bernhardt gets the pick. Feeding the crease, slam dunk, Bubba Fairman. All Terrapins.
Everyone talks about Bernhardt, his dodging ability. The two feeds we've seen, Quint, in this second quarter are next level, and they're very different. The prior feed that he had on the Griffin Brown goal went right through the heart of the Duke defense. That one, he just felt the slide coming from inside. His head was up in a perfect spot feed.
Offensive coordinator Bob Benson is delivering a gem in this game. They send Bernhardt a pick. It changes the matchup. Duke's got a double team. Meanwhile, inside, it's a scissors cut. You got two guys going in opposite directions. Dunk City.
Bernhardt now 1 point away from tying Ray Altman's single-season school record for points, 93. He's got the career mark for points, for goals. He's got the single-season record for goals this year, 66 now. It almost doesn't matter what happens in the second half of this game or Monday. Quint, I don't see how he doesn't win the Tewaaraton. A penalty coming against Duke. Brown streaking down the alley. Cuts it back. Didn't get much on the left-handed shot. Still a live ball. Bernhardt was going for it. Giles Harris down again. And Maryland will go man up.
White, 2-6, illegal body check, 1 minute.
John Geppert legging that ball up, and that's just high, clear violation. It's the wrap on the left knee of JT Giles Harris, National Defender of the Year.
A 1 minute man up. Now Maryland can take this into halftime and start the second half with the ball, no face-off. But if they get a good look, I would imagine they try to tack one on here if they can.
No, they're going to hold this thing.
Now they're going to hold it. It looked like they were probing to see if something is there. So if Maryland hangs onto the ball, and they will, Terps will have the ball, no face-off, and an extra man for the first 26 seconds of the third quarter. Maryland closing the half on a 4-0 run. Duke got to within 4-3 on a goal by Sowers. The Terps respond. Bernhardt has had a hand in 5 of the 8 Maryland goals, and nobody has figured out the kryptonite for one in red.
John Tillman saying to us, Bernhardt's only point of reference is himself. And he has proved that today in so many different ways. The dodging game, the shooting game, the passing game.
Kark.
Yep. You know, Coach, offensively, the ball movement and the extra pass, where did you see the seams in the Duke defense?
Well, I think that's the thing. We've been getting good matchups, and then when we've gotten good matchups or we've gotten hung situation when they pull the goalie out, we've just really emphasized to our guys, just keep moving, and then we've drawn slides. We just talked about keep that ball hot and then attack the inside, make sure they defend you, and make the extra pass, and it's an unselfish group for sure.
Coming into the game on paper, Duke had a huge advantage at the face-off dot. You're 9 for 13. Why?
Justin's been great on the whistle. He's done a really good job, and obviously with some wing play, we had some hustle plays there that have really helped us as well.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Under John Tillman, Maryland has played on Memorial Day 5 times. 30 minutes away from getting back there for a 6th time. The Terps close the first half on a 4-0 run. Bernhardt continues to be unstoppable. 8-3 Maryland. To Chris Cotter in the studio. Minutes in the books, 30 minutes to play, and Maryland with a 5-goal lead on Duke as we're about ready for the start of the third quarter. Anish Shroff, Quinn Kesnick, Paul Carcaterra down on the field. Duke has 30 minutes to figure out its identity. 30 minutes and 14 games in, no one has figured out how to stop Jared Bernhardt. We thought maybe JT Giles Harris, National Defenseman of the Year, had a chance. He got hurt early, and Duke has not had an answer.
Now, Maryland's motto is be the best, and right now they're the best in this game by a wide margin. So regardless of whatever the pregame plan was for Duke defensively, I think that's got to be scrapped. Now, this game got off to a tough start for the Duke defense and JT Giles Harris, the National Defender of the Year. You see a hit, and then his own teammate is angled into his left knee, which hyperextends. He's been in pain the entire first half. He doesn't look to be 100%, but he's gutting it out.
Meanwhile, Jared Bernhardt continues his postseason tear. 6 goals in round 1, 5 goals in the quarterfinals, 3 goals, 2 assists so far. If you play Maryland to stop Bernhardt, they can beat you by moving the ball. If you want to take away the crisp passing and ball movement, Kark, they can give it to Bernhardt on an island. There does not seem to be an answer for this offense.
And it's not just Duke that's dealing with it. College lacrosse dealt with it all season long. Bernhardt has been an outlier. But I just spoke to John Danowski, Duke's head coach, and he told me about JT and his health. He said he's banged up, but he's a 5th-year senior. There's no way he's leaving this game. Couple things offensively. He said they're holding on to the ball way too long. Basic exchanges, catching and throwing, an issue. And then on defense, they're slide happy. They just have to stay true to their matchups and have a little bit more faith in the one-on-one matchups.
No face-off to begin the third quarter. Maryland starts man up. 26 seconds on the Maryland extra man, as the Terps look to extend a 5-goal lead. Here is Bernhardt. Carpenter knocking it away, and a caused turnover and a sign of life for Duke at the start of the third.
Duke needs a juice play. They need to change the mojo of this game. Well, that's an opportunity to get things maybe rolling back in their favor. Got a good reaction from their bench on that turnover. Can they make it matter?
And a flag coming against Maryland. Brower lost his stick, so now Duke will go man up.
Duke went offsides there to end the play, but prior there was a flag down.
Number 13, red, offside, 30.
They catch Griffin Brown, and the Duke man-up unit that is 6 for its last 9, including today, will have a chance.
That was an interesting sequence. Maryland had 13 on the field, while 3 of them were coaches. Coach Tillman was way out of the coaching box. Bob Benson was on the field. Even Jesse Bernhardt, the normally calm and sedated defensive coordinator, was onto the field to argue that call.
Brennan O'Neill, 9 extra man goals. 34 in white has been the guy. I'd like to start with Sowers and then skip it to O'Neill. Full strength and nothing even resembling a shot attempt. Robertson from the outside and an easy save.
Not much in line of patterns there, Quint. The extra man, a lot of times you'll see a change of formation and some play from behind where Sowers would pick a side, but that extra man unit right there looks stagnant.
Yeah, they started out in a circle. They changed the formation all while the ball's thrown around the outside. And, you know, when you're a goalie, you're sitting there saying, okay, you want to throw the ball around the outside? The clock's ticking. That's fine with me.
Duke barely avoided upset last week against Loyola. John Danowski told us guys were passive, afraid to make plays. You got less than 30 minutes left in your season. Bernhardt's made plays all season long. DeMeo, fifth-year senior from San Diego.
Maryland's win last week at Notre Dame, and East was one of the most intense quarterfinal games I can remember.
Kyle Long to Bernhardt, save Adler, rebound to DeMeo, and Maryland with a new lead.
And in our conversations with John Tillman this week, Clark, he talked about the heat, the recovery it would need to get off that effort. I think they caught a big break today with the cool temperatures.
They did, and they were lucky. They flew back right after that game and got a couple days rest. The temperatures are cool here, but what's impressive about this unit, too, on offense right now, as much attention Bernhardt gets, Kyle Long, 23 in red, is a fantastic playmaker off the dodge.
Carpenter picks up Bernhardt. Merriman's pass to Wisnauskas. Brower all over Logan Wisnauskas. Long for Maltz. Maryland able to keep it on the offensive half. You can go over and back, but only in the first 20 seconds of the shot clock. Looking for the cutter. Bernhardt there to back up with 10. Bernhardt beating Long. Hesitation. Looking for Maltz. Deep ball. That's a big defensive stop for Duke. That had a shot clock reset. That was a long defensive possession.
Duke's packing it in, and Danny Maltz, 37 in red, is their crease guy. He's their in-sky guy. He's not really having a lot of opportunity, so in this second half, I think Maryland is going to have to stretch it a little bit in terms of their outside shooters, guys like Griffin Brown.
Meanwhile, defensively, the Terps have shackled the Blue Devils. Grill's done a nice job on Sowers. Makar's done a nice job on O'Neal. But no one else has stepped up. Puglisi with Lowry, stride for stride. O'Neal did not have an angle. He's a lefty. Left hand free. McNaney to save, and that's been the other factor for Maryland. McNaney's playing his best game of the tourney. Puglisi the other way! It started with the save, and then Roman Puglisi in transition for his 13th career goal.
This is an element that makes this sport so riveting. McNaney with a clean stop. Maryland breaks out. Puglisi sniffs it. They disrespect him. He's a defensive midfielder. Parting of the Red Sea.
Wow. Maryland has Roman Puglisi. Duke does not have that type of player in the middle of the field from the short stick defensive midi position that can make a play like that.
Dan O'Connell at the face-off backs. Duke trying everything. The Holy Cross transfer. A loose ball push on Duke. Maryland has it back. Oh, now they'll say it's Duke ball.
Maryland's goalie, Logan McNaney's done a wonderful job on ground balls and outlet passing late in the season. A bad shot gets punished with a beautiful lob pass to an open target, like a quarterback hitting a post pattern.
Now, we've seen him score a goal, too. Makar the takeaway. Ledman the trail check. Picks it up. Plays it back to Sowers. Schurer jumps off of Sowers, who's now defended by Grill as Duke moves it to the near side. Joe Robertson's been quiet. He's in white had the game winner in overtime in the quarters. Another turnover by Duke. Maryland pressing on. Duke milling in retreat. That's been the case since the start of the second quarter.
Not close. Bernhardt dominating play.
Bernhardt against Giles Harris. Good defense there. A 6-goal lead for the Terps.
Check! X! OG!
Bernhardt to Griffin Brown. 15 to shoot. It comes back to Holden. The Hobart transfer against Nikai Montgomery. Bernhardt from the wing. Maneuvers in. Adler got a piece of it. It's loose. Brower buttons his way out of trouble.
Terrific ground ball by Kenny Brower and strong two-handed cradle through traffic. Sophomore lefty. He's a player.
Yeah, with the COVID year, he's got 3 more years of eligibility. This is the type of player that could be a National Defender of the Year, 43 in white, Kenny Brower.
Park, Duke only has 2 shots in the last 12 minutes. Shots.
It's incredible. When I spoke to John Danowski, he mentioned his defense needs to time their slides properly. Maryland's defense is timing their slides and their help and support perfectly.
Now Sowers circles around McNady there, a stone wall in the cage. A Duke offense that averages more than 15 goals, held to 3. Maryland, the number 2 scoring offense in the country. Only behind North Carolina. The Heels lost to Virginia earlier today in the first semifinal. The top 4 scoring offenses all advanced to championship weekend this year. The most star-studded field we've seen. We're getting closer to narrowing it to 2. Virginia and the winner of this game. Wisnauskas against Dyson Williams, mauls the face. DeMeo over to Long in the shot clock violation.
Hey, that's fine. Maryland works so hard on offense. You know, people who think offense is stand around and watch a guy dodge to the goal. All 6 parts are constantly moving and thinking, hey, what's going to happen next? Where do I need to be if this pass is made? Like, they're constantly a step ahead.
I would agree with you, Quint. When I look at their offense, there's the similar approach to North Carolina this season in regards to just the pieces of the puzzle. The 5 guys without the ball work just as hard as the guy with the ball. And when you can embody that type of characteristic in your offense, everyone's going to eat. Everyone's going to share the ball. It's not about who's scoring the goals. Everyone gets the touches.
Ledman missed the cage. They stay with Duke. Robertson closest to the ball. Lennox went out. Joe Robertson honorable mention All-American. Now Brennan O'Neill, the ACC's Freshman of the Year. Quigley defended well by Bubba Fairman. Montgomery turned away by Makar. Shot clock at 7. There's Montgomery, shot clock at 3. Another Duke possession that comes up empty.
Slides and help. That's what's defined this Maryland defense. Jesse Bernhardt, the defensive coordinator, a Team USA player, and a star in the rising in terms of the coaching profession. These guys are such selfless type of players. It's unbelievable. In terms of both sides of the field for Maryland right now, the defense is perfect in terms of the support, help, and the slides.
We come up on 3.5 to play in this third quarter. It's been all Terps. Winner to Championship Monday. Holden to the wing, top shelf. Logan Wisnauskas, Clark. You can't leave him open there. That's his sweet spot.
They're packing it in. The Duke defense daring a Terp to stretch shoot. Well, if you've watched Logan Wisnauskas long enough, the day he stepped on campus at Maryland, the high wing lefty shooter, if you give him this kind of time, he will pick apart an opposing goalie. Look at the placement on the righty goalie. Top left.
Lacrosse, a family affair for the Bernhardts. Jesse Bernhardt, a 2-time All-American at Maryland, now an assistant coach. Older brother Jake, an All-American at Maryland, now an assistant at Vermont. And Jared, the youngest of 3, the best player in the country this season, and almost the surefire to Wharton favorite now.
When I spoke to Jared at practice yesterday, I said, "Is your mom coming, Catherine?" He said, "Yeah, she'll be here." So Catherine's here. I said, "What about Jake, who's an assistant at Vermont?" He goes, "No, Jake's not coming Saturday." I'm like, he goes, "We haven't talked, actually." I'm like, "What do you mean?" When you pointed at him after you scored that goal against Vermont, he was upset? He goes, "No, he's at PLL training camp." So Jake is a midfielder, a pro midfielder.
Now, one of the great brotherly moments of round 1, Jared Bernhardt scoring the goal against Vermont, pointing to his brother Jake, a little taunt on the sideline. And it's so out of character for Jared, who John Tillman said is the most soft-spoken, unassuming type of player. He's not the loud type of leader the way Matt Rambo or Colin Heacock were. But he said when it comes to he and his brothers, there's a different side of Bernhardt that comes out.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's smack talks with their brothers. But, you know, when you look at a guy like Jared Bernhardt, he's leading differently than, say, a superstar like Matt Rambo and Colin Heacock in 2017. And that's why I think John Tillman had to evolve, too. He allowed Heacock and Rambo in 2017 to be big voices. Jared's not a big voice, but he's a leader on the field, and everyone follows him in terms of his work ethic. And you just feel something different about this guy this season. You just feel like he's on a mission.
There's Makar after another Duke turnover. It has been the nightmare of real things for Duke. And Maryland offensively flowing like a cascade.
Jared is the most quiet of the trio of brothers. John Tillman saying, "I just give him space." Tillman also saying that he's found a certain mental clarity this season. I go back to 2017 when he was a freshman on the Terps national championship team. He was kind of afraid to shoot as a midfielder. Then in 18, played behind the goal. Made his money feeding Connor Kelly up top. When his dad got sick in 2019 and passed away in the summer of cancer, Jim Bernhardt, who's just widely respected and loved in lacrosse and football coaching circles. That was a setback for Jared in late 2019 and then into 2020.
And then Quint not playing this fall, I think he was able to hit the reset button, right? He was chasing college football a lot like Doc Aiken from Virginia was, and when Ferris State didn't have the season. He would have played there in the fall, but because of COVID, stayed down in Florida, trained in a different kind of energy and purpose when he returned to College Park.
Spent time with his mom, Catherine. So when he came back, there was a certain hunger. Paul, as you said, man on a mission, and that's what it's been. What's his future hold? We don't know. He's a third-round pick in the PLL draft in terms of lacrosse. Ferris State being option quarterbacks on the table. I think if I'm Mike Loxley, the head coach of Maryland football, I invite him out. I just haven't seen an athlete like Jared Bernhardt play lacrosse in, I don't know, a decade or two.
Less than a minute to go in this third quarter. Bernhardt, a save by Adler. Maryland wins the race to the sideline. New shot clock. Doesn't really matter with 45 seconds to go in the quarter. And the Terps will try to tack on. Six unanswered for Maryland. This one knocked down. Adler tried to recover it. It trickles in.
Bernhardt. Scoop and score from inside on the rebound. Watch number one. He's right in the middle of the slot area.
Pick it up. Little trash. Quick wrists.
Paul,
back of the net.
His shooting has improved dramatically since his freshman year.
His off-ball play, too. I mean, in 2017, when he was a secondary option with Heacock and Rambo, he still was a guy that could go to the goal. But his shooting in terms of just finding the seams, and we've seen range from him this year as well. 52% heading into this game. A perimeter player like him, if you're checking in around 35%, you're doing something well.
93 points on the season. That ties Ray Altman's single-season school record. The Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year has been a force that nobody's been able to slow down. 7 straight goals. Dyson Williams ends the long scoring drought for Duke. It's 11-4. The Blue Devils went more than 20 minutes without a goal.
The one player for Duke that I think you can consistently force feed and jam it inside is Dyson Williams. He was an attackman as a freshman last year. He was Duke's leading scorer before the season was cut short. Moved to midfield. Nakai Montgomery's vision, that has been the biggest growth pattern in 15 and White's game. But Dyson Williams, you see him catching that across his face, and in one motion, it's the catch and finish.
Why don't they feed him more inside?
Underutilized this year. He is sincere and humble as Dyson Williams. Last year in 8 games played, 25 goals. He's the number 3 recruit. For whatever reason, offensive chemistry hasn't really broke his way this year for Duke.
Duke had all the pieces when the season started. Assembly required, though. Whatever they've built, Maryland has taken a blowtorch to it through 3 quarters. The Terps 15 minutes away from playing for the national championship. All right, thank you, Chris. By the way, have you seen Petro's mustache?
No.
Solid, man.
Really?
Solid.
Have you seen Anisha's hair? Solid.
Now that's going tomorrow. The haircut is tomorrow. 11-4. Maryland on top of Duke. 4th quarter underway Terps have controlled the faceoff next. And Connell, the Holy Cross transfer, who only took 7 faceoffs in conference play, gets Duke the ball. They're down by 7. Clark, you saw Duke in desperation mode in a comeback win against Notre Dame. They were down 4-5 in the fourth quarter, and they almost threw their playbook out the window and gave the ball to Michael Sowers and said, drive, we don't care how you get us there. McNaney the save to take it away from Walsh.
Duke's got to extend now on the perimeter. They got to pick the tempo of this game up. I don't think they can afford to sit back and play it straight up as they have been. So you got to get out on the perimeter, overplay the ball, force Maryland to go to the rack. Because time is not on your side if you're the Blue Devils.
That is kicking the Hornets' nest, the way Maryland can move the ball. Duke has had trouble timing its slides. Maryland has picked them apart with precision passing. Patience by the Terps. Flag coming. Wisnowskis. No goal. And Maryland goes man up.
Come this way over there. A little bit more. Right there.
You have white, 3-5, slash, personal foul for 1 minute.
Kick yours back a little bit.
Jared Bernhardt sitting on 199 career points, looking for 200. Had some English on it. Maltz got rid of it. Maryland keeps it in bounds. Behrman and Adler, the goalie. Duke comes away with it.
Chopping wood over there.
And Maryland gets it back. Still 30 seconds on the man up. And Bernhardt. One more point, not only 200, it would make Bernhardt the single season points leader, one better than Ray Altman. Here is Bernhardt. DeMeo. Over to Wisnowskis. We're 6-on-6. Maltz, the bouncer, save. Adler, loose in front. And vacuumed by the St. Joe's transfer.
Adler, he's played a strong game, hasn't he, Paul?
He has. He's been the least of their worries. What concerns me, though, when you're down 11-4, you need to strike in transition, and that's something I haven't seen Duke do a ton. They put up 14 goals per game, but it's been in the half-field set from a majority of what they've done offensively when they've hit on big number games. It's been Michael Sowers, it's been Brennan O'Neill. We haven't seen defense to offense, quick strikes.
Well, here's a little new wrinkle today. Sowers initiating from up top. Owen Caputo's shot not there. Grill hits the deck, chasing the grounder. It's shoveled ahead.
That's
Makar.
Maryland's strength. Ground balls in their defensive zone. They've got 3 capable guys off the ground in Makar, Grill, and Rayhill.
Bernhardt working that time against Giles Harris, the National Defensive Player of the Year. 6 points today for Jared Bernhardt. 4 goals, 2 assists.
Makar runs up the field. He's got legs like Saquon Barkley. He's a monster.
Maryland will play slow here.
DeMeo. Left hand laser.
A step away underneath. Watch the drop step, Quint. DeMeo catches it. Feels the pressure topside. He's a lefty, so he's not going to get that sweep. So what do? Drop step and sting it. Look at this.
Sound effects sold separately. The level change, the low release to the high location impacts the goaltender's hands. Adler just with a little dip of the top hand.
Set.
Hark to what you said earlier. Not only does Duke have to make up this deficit, but they don't play in transition. They've got to figure out a way to get 6-on-6 goals in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's a tall task because Maryland has Alex Smith, right? He can run in transition. Roman Puglisi runs in transition, can score. Duke does not have that aspect of their game. And let me tell you something, too. This is a Duke team that's averaged 14 goals. We talk about Maryland's selfless offense, and I mentioned their selfless defense. What does selfless defense mean? Well, it's sliding and understanding and having the confidence in your team to play together that your guy might score, right? So when you slide early, you're worried about your matchup. Is he going to score? Maryland doesn't care about that. They slide at the right time because it's the right move. A lot of defenders sometimes worry about their guys, right? I don't want my guy to score. Maryland believes in their system.
And Duke offensively has been silenced. Michael Sowers, only one goal. Brennan O'Neill, only one goal. Duke has connected on just 4 of 26 shots. A timeout by Maryland and a good one by John Tillman. Not looking to cede even a sliver of momentum to John Danowski's Blue Devils. The Terps, 9 minutes and a change away from a date with Virginia. Maryland with an 8-goal lead, 9:06 to go. Virginia advanced earlier today to Monday's championship, taking out the top seed, UNC. Virginia and Maryland played in a memorable and somewhat controversial quarterfinal.
Somewhat?
2019.
Somewhat.
As you said, one of the worst calls you've seen covering the sport on this stage.
The worst.
Virginia came back from 5 down in the fourth quarter to beat Maryland that year. Aided by a goal call on a shot that hit the pipe.
And ricocheted 40 yards out towards midfield.
Maryland and Virginia, as we get a shot clock violation, also played in that 2011 championship. John Tillman's first season with the Terps.
Colin Briggs, the X factor in that game. Didn't play in Saturday. Didn't play Saturday for the Cavaliers. Had fresh legs on a really hot national championship game. There's so many years, I think the way the semifinals are played impact the finals.
McNaney turns another away.
That is how much gas is left in the tank. This year, I mean, it's almost Arctic-like conditions today. Temperatures aren't even 50. Give Virginia credit. They've changed their entire yearly plan for Championship Monday. Sunday is a work day at the University of Virginia lacrosse program. Lars Tiffany brings the guys back in. They do a light workout, so they're used to a fast turnaround. It's kind of in their weekly.
They're built schedule for this weekend, and a lot of folks wonder: is there an advantage to playing in the early semifinal? 11 of the last 13 national champions played in the first semifinal. The exceptions: Duke in 2010, Maryland in 2017.
Clark gets a slight advantage playing in that first game, no doubt.
Oh yeah, you get the scout.
You get the scout, you get extra hours, you get an extra meal, you get extra hours of rest.
Oliver, the freshman.
Yeah, there's Maliver. Anish, I think he'll be the guy behind. When Bernhardt leaves, Maliver will run the offense at X.
Holden left-handed. The former Hobart statesman came to Maryland for two reasons: to play in the NCAA tournament and to win a national title.
They've been a staple in May. Always consistent under John Tillman. His ability to recruit. Guys like Eric Maliver. Learn the system. Learn from a great like Jared Bernhardt. And Holden catches that ball, feels the pressure, and in one motion spins. Maryland's been shooting lights out.
And Holden's got the left-handed rip. He almost scored 100 goals at Hobart. One-year master's program. Was banged up early in the year and then came back, and he was kind of pressing to try to get back in the lineup. So Coach Tillman put him on the scout team. And he took scout team reps where he pretended he was Connor Kirst for a couple Rutgers games, and that's where he rebuilt his confidence.
Yeah, you got to swallow your pride, but when you're a guy like Holden and you're playing at Hobart, the ball's in your stick the majority of the time, right? You're running the offense, and you can kind of exhaust all your options before you give it up. That's not how Maryland plays. So he had to get acclimated to Bobby Benson's offense, the way John Tillman does things, and the buy-in to be able to respond after getting demoted to the scout team tells you a lot about this kid.
When this NCAA tournament began, we have 5 teams in our crosshairs: Duke, Virginia, Notre Dame, and UNC out of the ACC, and Maryland out of the Big Ten. 4 of those 5 made it to championship weekend. All super teams. Maryland taking down Notre Dame in the quarters. Steamrolling Duke in the semis. And Q, if Maryland finishes it on Monday, going through Notre Dame, Duke, and Virginia. 3 teams from the best ACC that we've seen. That is one heck of a run to perfection and through this NCAA tournament.
No doubt. They got to get Jared Bernhardt out of this game. 4th quarter, 5 minutes to go, up this amount of goals. And you got the franchise still out there. Do you remember a guy named Dylan Malloy, Park from Brown?
Failure to advance by Duke. They could not get it across midfield. NCAA lacrosse coverage continues tomorrow. The women's championship, noon Eastern, BC and Syracuse. We get to see Charlotte North, the best player in the country, the BC Star. For more information on the 2021 men's and women's lacrosse championships, visit NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships.
It'll be a first-time champion either way.
Jared Bernhardt, the punctuation. The best player in the country.
Call it a day.
Yes, call it a day is right.
.200 career goals. He sets the single-season points record. He has rewritten the Maryland record book. He has had at least 5 goals in every NCAA tournament game this year.
Dealing with pressure, able to run away from it.
And he nailed the dismount.
We watched him after the Vermont game sign in lacrosse balls in College Park, and as if he didn't want to leave the stadium that day. Remember, as a youngster, watching his older brothers play for Maryland, he was in the locker room when he was like 10, 11, 12 years old. This is a program that's been a part of his life for a lot longer than just his 4 or 5 years. And I just watched him sign. It was like he didn't want to leave, you know? It was like that place became a part of him.
The Bernhardts here are what the Powells are to Syracuse. Brennan O'Neill, the freshman. Great career ahead for him, but for Jared Bernhardt, 200 career goals now. Only 4 players on that list. The others, Zach Greer and Justin Gutterding of Duke. Matt O'Keefe, the all-time goals leader for Penn State.
He did it this year with a monster X on his back. Every team tried to stop him. Right? That was the headline of every scouting report when you played Maryland. Stop number 1, and no one could do it.
We'll talk about it Monday, but historically, if you're a Maryland fan, there's just 2 guys now. It's Frank Urso, who won 2 national championships. He's a multiple first-team All-American. And Jared Bernhardt. Those guys are 1-2-2-1, depending on what happens on Monday afternoon.
It's a generational debate now.
Urso was a 4-time first-team All-American at the midfield. They'll both have the 2 national titles. It's a good debate to have, but when you're in a conversation with Frank Urso, you're a legend.
Final minutes of Michael Sowers' collegiate career. At Princeton last year, had there been a Tewaaraton Award, Sowers was the runaway favorite. In the midst of the greatest season ever, he was averaging more than 9 points a game. He came to Duke, and so did this guy, Brennan O'Neill, the freshman. Duke was the preseason favorite. McNaney, another save. It was depth, it was experience, it was talent.
It was good, but never great. We kind of waited for Duke to play that A-plus game.
And we never saw it against elite competition. Yet they still found ways to win. Now on this stage, everyone's got the talent. The best are left.
And the offensive chemistry, Sowers had his moments, no doubt. In the end of that Notre Dame game, I'll never forget. His High Point game was incredible. I'm not sure the system ever quite worked to perfection with him. The good news for fans is you get to see him in the PLL. He'll be playing pro for the Water Dogs, number 2 pick. That starts next week.
He'll be in the mix for Team USA. He's an amazing player. When you look what he's done since the moment he stepped on the field as a freshman at Princeton, Michael Sowers delivered and answered the bell.
But in this season, the best player in the country has been Jared Bernhardt. And in this NCAA tournament, there has not been a close second.
The speed is unmatched, and Jared Bernhardt, I mentioned earlier, has been on a mission from the moment he stepped back on College Park's campus. It's amazing. There's nothing he can't do. He showed you a little bit of everything today. The dodging, the shooting off ball, the passing. It's Jared Bernhardt's team. He might not be a vocal type leader, but it's his team.
He's an introvert off the field. He's dealt with the passing of his dad in the summer of 2019. A dad who was a college football coach and extremely well respected both at Maryland and nationally. He's come back as a man on a mission, and he's played like a man all season long.
16 goals in this NCAA tournament. 5 goals, 2 assists today. Heart like Hercules, feet like Hermes, shoulders as wide as Atlas. He has played like a man on a mission, and he is our Capital One player of the game. No surprise. It has been one sublime performance after another for Jared Bernhardt. And you saw late in the season when the stakes were raised, really that Big Ten semi against Michigan, where
8 goals or so?
8 goals, 2 assists, and it was almost a ruthless,
untouched.
I can do what I want, and I know it, and you can't stop me.
Yeah, like, I got more. I'm like, oh, you got more? There's more? This is pretty good. You got more? Yeah, I got more. Like, I've been kind of coasting along here during the regular season. Now there's more.
We'll get more on Monday.
The matchup with Virginia's very long, rangy defense will be fascinating.
Virginia will try to do what nobody's done this season. That's stop Bernhardt. This is a Cavaliers team, though, Kark, that is playing its best ball late in the season. Give me your first glance at Monday's title game.
2 things that separate Virginia in terms of the turnaround, right? Because we had a lot of questions and moments in 2021. One was their off-ball defense. They'll have to play the way they have been down the stretch. They fine-tuned ways to play together, to communicate. Maryland moves the ball at hyperspeed. That's one thing that they'll need to do against Jared Bernhardt and the Terps. The other thing, the middle of the field, a question mark for Virginia and their short stick D-middies. Could they get transition? Could they get loose balls? Today they did. But Maryland has those guys as well with Roman Puglisi and Alex Smith. So I think there's going to be tremendous unit matchups in this game.
One more for Sowers. That's just bookkeeping. 14-5. A 2-time Tewaaraton finalist. One of the most prolific scores in the history of the game.
Tough ending. He's shown humility, respect. He's always been super polite with us, and the kid is a worker. It's been fun to watch him play. Good news is now with pro lacrosse, we get to see him take his exploits to the pro game where he will light up the scoreboard and be super fun to watch.
For the 6th time under John Tillman, Maryland will play on Memorial Day. A dismantling and demolition of the team everyone thought was the team when the season began, Duke. The Terps remain unbeaten, playing for history, looking to make this one of the great runs through the NCAA tournament. They took down Notre Dame. They vaporized Duke. They get the reigning champion Virginia on Monday. And it was Virginia that ended Maryland's season the last time the Terps were in the NCAA tournament in 2019. Final score from East Hartford. Maryland 14, Duke 5. It'll be the Terps and the Cavaliers on Championship Monday. Quint, Kark, and I will be with you then. That does it from East Hartford. We'll see you Memorial Day.